Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I am your host, Joey Harris, and again broadcasting from Philadelphia with my friend Tyler. It is now Monday, April 8th, and night 2 was one of, if not the greatest night of wrestling I've ever seen. What are your thoughts?
I 100% agree. Undescribable I think is the best way to put it into a whole, a collective whole.
Right.
Just because of how great everything from night 1 was, but night 2, man, blew it off the roof.
Absolutely. We got a later start headed to the stadium yesterday, and we were trying to get in the same parking lot that we got into for night 1, but wasn't able to. But I thought where we parked was good. We were in the baseball parking lots. But from there, it was not hard to get across to the stadium and all that. I think they held us longer yesterday when they opened up the gates than before.
Yeah, they definitely did, because it was Saturday. It was 4:30. The gates opened up, and it was like 4:45-ish.
Yeah,
yesterday,
something like that.
Before they let us in.
And so we saw a little bit. We saw them doing it, the Busted Open show live from just outside, and on the inside they were just about to start the network, the kickoff show. So we saw that. We were on the opposite side last night. Better seats, I thought.
I totally agree. We were like a whole section down.
Right.
So we were closer. The view was better. Everything didn't look like ants. But it was just like a better view in general.
Right. If you were looking at the show online, we were this time opposite the hard cam in the section right that lined up directly with the stage. So we saw a lot of the stage, but you could see the ring better, like you said. So night 2 kicks off. They do God Bless America this time, and then Stephanie McMahon comes out. Been a while since we've seen her on a show, even though she was at the Hall of Fame, but talking about kicking off, this is the Paul Levesque era, and Triple H certainly
killing it.
Yes, especially last night. Started off with are they calling it the world title?
Yeah, the World Heavyweight Championship match.
Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. I've said it to you. I think overall one of the MVPs of the weekends is just Seth. With everything that we've heard about him being really hurt, he went out there both nights and just brought it, especially, and then what happened at the end. But we'll get to that. But this match was really good, going back and forth. Drew starting it off hot. I'm like, wow, this is going to be. I thought Seth was really, really hurt, and they're like, if you can get out there and get hit with that one move, it'll be over with. But no,
he went.
He false finish and back and forth and all of that. Drew gets the pin. Drew gets the title. Celebrates. Seth walking back up the ramp. Everybody's like, thank you, Seth. Thank you, Seth. Drew goes over, hugs his family, and then goes and antagonizes CM Punk. We saw a little bit of it. I looked at a little bit of it later after we got back to the hotel about what they were doing. And then Drew turns around and Punk attacks him, takes off the brace, beats him with it, kicks him with it over and over again. And then the music hits. And Damien Priest comes down, cashes in Money in the Bank, and pins Drew. So now we've got 2 new World Heavyweight Champions within the span of just minutes. And Damien Priest walks out with the title. Goes back up to the top. The rest of Judgment Day comes out and they celebrate. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a really good match. Can we just take a moment and appreciate Drew McIntyre's, like, his Twitter?
Oh yeah, bored at work.
Bored at work, tweeting. And then after his loss, you know, his, you can go look it up. I won't say it on the podcast. But his response to his loss. But what I will say, what I appreciated is Drew McIntyre, although short-lived, did finally get his WrestleMania moment.
Right.
Because when he won, he was getting a lot of boos, but when he won, he got a really big... Like,
he got cheers.
Talk. He got cheers.
Yeah.
Which was good for him. And then, you know, he went over to, I think his wife or girlfriend?
I think his wife, but his significant other, and the other guy was his brother.
Right. And, you know, he, you know, celebrated with her. And then, going over and taunting CM Punk. Once Punk took off that brace and hit him, like, and that music hit, that stadium went wild.
Because we had been talking about it leading up to it, but in the moment I had forgotten. I had forgotten about Money in the Bank until he comes down, until the music hits.
Right. And I think I remember seeing this. This was a few weeks ago, but he was under 100 days to cash in.
Yeah.
So he was coming down, like, within the time frame, and doing it at WrestleMania. No better place to cash in at.
Right. No, I fully agree with that. So then they celebrate and we move on. What was the second match?
It was Final Testament versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits.
All right. So Philadelphia Street Fight. We got so Punk was the guest commentator for the first match. For the second match, guest commentator Snoop Dogg. And our special guest referee, of course, ECW, Bubba Ray Dudley, Philadelphia, and all that. Got a big reaction when he comes out. We said it at the time. I know you said it. Like, was not interested in this match, but they brought it. They
yeah, and I think having sorry, forgive me, Bubba there.
Yeah,
I think that helped the quality of the match, because then you saw, like, doing, like, 3D things, like doing that, and, you know, jumping off and hitting the headbutt between, you know, to the groin. I really think just having Bubba there really just helped the presence of the match,
right?
Because for me it was going in. And not that I have anything against any of the wrestlers. It just wasn't a match that interested me.
Right.
But then you and I both got into it. We're
right.
like, that was awesome.
The only missed time that they have was that one table breaking when they put him on it, but they recovered real quick from
right.
that, so.
And I like just how Montez Ford and Dawkins, how they just handled the situation.
Right.
They like played in with the crowd and just rolled out and got another table, and just the crowd cheered for that. That was pretty amazing.
All right. No, I fully agree. And from then, what did we get?
It was LA Knight versus AJ Styles.
Yes, really, really good match. The crowd is fully into LA Knight. Not a huge fan of AJ's new music.
No.
Just because I prefer his old music. But this was a good match. The crowd's really into LA Knight, like I said before. He's got a tremendous upside. I'd be interested to see where they both go from here.
Yeah. I will say, during that match, that was the start of the lights chants. If anybody at home
they
or
may
who
not
was
know.
there could hear the chants.
There was something going on with the lights all night long where sections of the stadium would be completely lit up, and it's in fans' eyes. They couldn't see anything.
Right, it was blinding people because the few times that it
happened to us, you couldn't see anything.
You couldn't see, but they got the shut the lights off chant going, and they shut it off, and that arena like blew up like that. It was loud. But back to the match, LA Knight, what a guy.
Yeah.
Who can control the crowd. Right. Anytime he just threw his hand up and did his, and then everybody just LA Knight, like like people love that guy.
They do. What was next?
Next was the United States Championship match.
Oh yeah, the triple threat.
Yeah.
Before that, did they announce the Hall of Fame, or was it after that?
I don't remember if it was before. Yeah, I think it was that it was actually before the United States Championship match, because for those of us that were in the arena during the Hall of Fame is when they got Logan Paul's truck.
The Prime truck, yes. So big ovations for the Hall of Fame class. Ata Johnson representing her late mother, Leah Maivia. Gerald Briscoe bringing out Thunderbolt Patterson. Muhammad Ali's wife was not there, but he still got a respectable ovation when they showed his picture. Bull Nakano, the U.S. Express got it really good, and they did the Bray light, the Firefly lights for them, and then Paul Heyman coming out,
and naturally getting a big pop.
Oh yeah. So that was nice. They did those away, and like Tyler said, that's when they were bringing out the Prime truck. So they do the flashback to everything that led up to the match.
Before they did that, though, if you remember right, after the Hall of Fame, like they went off stage, they played Bray Wyatt's music for a while.
Yes,
to honor him. Mm-hmm. And then that's when everybody pulled out their phones.
Yeah.
And Firefly.
Yes.
And then we moved into the.
Then we moved into the triple threat. Logan Paul gets on the Prime truck as they're doing that, and they do their little the fireworks thing with the Prime bottle. Kevin Owens coming out in the 4-wheeler, going down, then back up, picking Randy Orton up and going down. I thought that was pretty good too. I went to the restroom during this match, but when I came back, it was still going on. Surprised at the ending. Loved a lot of the moves, the RKOs and the pop-up power bombs and stunners and stuff like that. Do you think it was the right call having Logan Paul retain?
I think so, only because of his social media presence. Right. But also because he's still so young, and he is so athletic. And he's so hated by everybody. Mm-hmm. I just think it was the right move, because when the moment comes that somebody does beat him, it's going to be a huge reaction. Right. And, Orton he doesn't have anything to prove. No. And Kevin Owens, he doesn't have anything to prove anymore at this point either, in my opinion. And he's already had the United States title 4 times. Right. So I think it was the right call.
The only thing that made me wonder if they were going to switch it was Kevin Owens' entrance when they did the reverse from night 1, where he runs into Sammy.
Right, yeah.
So from there, we get the women's match, the women's championship, Bayley versus Io Sky. Bayley comes out, really good ovation. They had done that. They did the whole video board thing of everything that gone on between Bayley creating Damage Control and then the fallout. Io comes out originally with the rest of Damage Control, but they didn't go down to ringside with her.
No.
So I thought what was going to happen is they were going to come to ringside, and then Bianca, Jade, and Naomi were going to come down for Bayley. But they go back to the back, and we get a pretty straightforward match, hard-hitting, a lot of big moves. The crowd loved it when Bayley won.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And well-deserved to Bayley, too.
Yes.
Very much so. And just the emotion. It's a betrayal storyline.
Right.
And when you see the person betrayed come out on top, it's like, it's emotional. Like, everybody was happy.
Right. Both nights, what I found fascinating is the setup that is happening while the match is going on for whatever comes up next. And they were, I will say this, big applause to the setup crew, because they were working overtime. They had to bring out all the stuff for the orchestra that was going to play Roman Reigns out. Then they had to cover it up. Then they took the section off where Cody comes through the stage and then set all of that stuff up, the fireworks and all of that. So now we're at our main event, and they did the perfect setup video for that, going back, talking about the story, Cody returning, winning the 2023 Royal Rumble, everything that happened at night 2 last year, Solo coming in, costing him the championship, the kind of redemption story of him coming back, winning the Royal Rumble again, all the stuff with The Rock, all the lead up to that, night 1, the ending of that, and then Arena goes dark. Cody comes through the stage wearing the skull mask. Brandy comes out, which got a big pop from everybody.
Yeah, it did.
He hands her the mask, as it says, wrestling has more than one royal family. She kisses him, I believe says, go finish the story, or something to that effect. And then his music hits, and the crowd was into it big time. A lot of Cody fans, except for the section that you and I were in. There were a lot of Roman fans.
A lot of Roman fans. Almost annoyingly.
Yeah, they were screaming things, and I'm just wanted to go. I'm like, you're at an event, you paid to come in. I get it. You can scream whatever you want to, but it was like almost like they thought that Cody and Roman could hear them, and I can guarantee that was not happening.
Absolutely could not hear them. But what an amazing entrance.
Yes, and again, two things. The song played, everybody was into it. Cody was, going in, just, soaking it all in. I'm sure it was very emotional time for him. Mama Rose back at ringside along with the rest of the family there. Again, just props to the setup department, because while all of that's going on, they're now having to take all the stuff out, cover the hole back up, take the coverings off all the things, and then get a full orchestra in and play so they can then play Roman in. And props to Roman and Heyman when they come in. They're also milking it when they come down and all that.
Oh, yeah.
But we're all thinking, because earlier in the night, Paul Heyman made fun of, was it Kayla? Whoever it was that asked him the question.
Yeah,
what does bloodline rules mean? They're not telling us. We do know that it's no disqualification, no count out, anything goes, but we didn't know, is The Rock going to be like night 1, like you count that and you're fired, because Charles Robinson is the referee. I think the only match he reffed all night was the main event.
I believe so, yeah.
Saw a couple of the other refs. I wasn't paying attention to all the refs, but I think that was the only match he reffed. It was definitely the biggest match he reffed last night, if he reffed another one.
Oh, yeah.
They start off, kind of even paced, kind of slow. I had to go to the restroom again. I was telling you, I'm like, I'm going to go now. There's no way they're finishing it in 3 minutes. Because I was telling you, I was kind of timing it out. And I said, is the women get to the ring, and I think I said it's 9:20 or whatever it was. I said, let's say this match goes 30 minutes. I didn't think it was going to go 30 minutes. I said, but that only gets us to 9:50. They had some time, and they took their time, and they told a great story. The close calls, going for each other's moves. First, Roman hits Crossroads.
The Crossroads, yeah.
And then we were going back and forth. I said, does Cody hit the Superman punch or the spear? I said the Superman punch. You said the spear. And he hits the spear. Hits it a couple of times.
Yeah, I was going to say, he hit it twice, I think. Once in the ring and then went through the barricade later on. Right.
So let's get to that part. I looked at it again this morning. If you go, folks, I think start around 3:06 or 3:07 of the event. They do the close calls. They do that. Cody gets the advantage in the ring out of the crowd. Here comes Jimmy Uso with the super kick. And the announcers are going, no, not like this. We knew it was going to be bloodline rules and all of that. And they milked it for longer than I remember. You're like, what's going to happen? And he's telling him, like, cover him or whatever it is. And then Jay's music hits. And the crowd erupted on that.
Yes, it did. You and I even got into it.
Yes.
You know.
So you see the main event, Jay Uso, on the screen. He comes running down. Jimmy meets him halfway. He super kicks Jimmy. And then we were right above that when they go off and go through that table or box or whatever it was.
Which was amazing.
Yes.
Spearing him off the stage through the table. I think a cloth was over it.
Yeah,
But it was 2 tables.
Yeah. And like we said, that's right above where we were. Folks, they sold that for a long time. They were both down there. Like, they were not rolling away and crawling away. I think they just stayed there.
I know Jay got up sooner than Jimmy did. I want to say Jimmy was there at least a good solid 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It may have been even longer. So then this becomes, so that's all over with about 3:09 in the event, if what I'm remembering from this morning is correct. And this starts one of the greatest few moments of any wrestling card. They go to the outside. Roman's at the thing, and it's the perfect, you have to watch it like bookends. Just like night one. Cody then spears Roman through the barricade into the timekeeper's area, just like he did Seth on night one. He comes back in, they're like, finish the story. I know he says, does he hit Crossroads before Solo comes out?
I think he hit it twice.
He hit it twice.
If I remember right.
And then Solo comes out from under the ring. And they're like, damn it, he's going to do it just like he did last night. He hits him with the spike. And then he tells Roman to cover him and all that and finish it. And they kind of milk it. And John Cena's music hits.
And explode that arena did.
Yeah. And props to Cena, because he's running all out. That's not a long, we were mentioning that was not a long runway, but it's not like right next to the entrance. And props to that cameraman. He was with him every step of the way. He comes in, takes Solo out, and they talked about on commentary, this is the guy that cost Cena everything and beat Cena the last time that Cena was in. Attitude adjustment through the table.
Well, first he knocked him out of the ring, and then he hit an attitude adjustment on Roman.
And then goes out.
Then goes out and hits the attitude adjustment on Solo through the table.
Then gets back in the ring, and that's when you hear
the Rock's
music, and Rock walks down. all of that, and he and Cena are face to face. And does he rock bottom Cena?
Yeah, Cena went to throw a punch, and then he hit
blocked
Cena
it.
with a rock bottom.
Yeah.
And then the Shield music hits.
And I'm not going to say everybody. I'm going to say a good 70% of the crowd wondered, is it going to be Seth and Moxley?
I know the people around us were like, is Mox here? Is Mox here?
Yeah.
Which would have blown the roof off of that arena
Right.
as well.
He gets in the ring and goes to
hit Rock with the chair, but Roman hits him with the Superman punch.
Right. And then Roman picks up the chair, and instead of taking out Cody, takes out Seth.
Well, before that,
yeah.
That's when, because both Rollins and Roman went out of the ring after he hit him with the Superman punch, because The Rock was going to whip Cody with his belt.
Right.
And then that's when the most important moment of my life happens, and the Undertaker's gong hit.
And the lights go out. It gongs again. The lights come back on. The Rock is looking towards the entrance, but the Undertaker is behind him.
Now, I have to make this very extremely clear. The Undertaker has meant everything to me throughout my entire life. It was one of my goals in my life to see him, and I was not expecting to see him last night.
Right.
I mean, I was hoping. I was definitely hoping. But when that gong hit, I got up and I screamed so hard that both my hands went numb. And that was the most beautiful moment ever for me.
Right. He takes out Rocky, and then everything's kind of clear, and they're like, finish the story. And Cody gets up.
And that's when Rollins was in the ring too, and Roman hit Seth with the chair instead of hitting Cody. And Cody then hits Roman and does... Yeah, he kicks him as he was going for the spear.
Right.
And then...
Crossroads.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. And the place erupted. We talked about it today. Looking back at it, Michael Cole's emotional. Samantha is like crying as she's announcing Cody as the new Universal Champion. And then people start to come in. Cody's family, Brandy comes down, and all of that. All of the people who had come down get back in the ring, and they're celebrating. And then the people start to come from the back. Kevin Owens,
Sami Zayn,
Randy Orton.
I think
LA Knight was out there.
CM
CM Punk then comes out.
Cena got back in.
Cena gets back in, and was Undertaker still in there?
No, Undertaker wasn't there.
Yeah. And Cody presents his mom with the belt, then gets on the mic and thanks everybody and says that there are two people, Bruce Pritchard for helping to bring him back to the WWE, and Triple H for being the start of the new era and all that. They come out, hug and congratulate Cody. Cody goes out, hugs Michael Cole, and gets, thanks and congratulations from Pat McAfee and Corey Graves. They thank everybody and then leave. And you had told me going back that Cody had watches made or ordered for everybody who helped to get him there. And you said he gave one to Seth.
Right, yeah. I saw he did an interview that he said he got custom made watches for him and Seth as like their partnership coming into WrestleMania. And then he also kind of dropped like a little hint, I got him made for some other people who are going to help me. But he left it at that,
Right.
So, which leads me to believe that he got one made for John Cena and The Undertaker.
Right.
And Jey Uso.
Yeah. And then we learned last night after we got back, which was a adventure in itself. It wasn't bad. There were a lot of just people who were very selfishly trying to get out, like cutting us off and all of that.
And a lot of swearing at other drivers going on too, I noticed.
Right. And also a lot of pedestrians. I'm like, I will let you absolutely go if I can, but don't dart out in front of vehicles.
Right.
Like, don't expect that they're going to stop. Anyway, but we learned coming back that when Cody comes back through the to the back, Bruce Pritchard, Triple H, and Nick Khan gifted him a not the watch. I think they said it's probably not the watch, but a replica or exact, not replica, another. What am I trying to say?
The
same type brand of watch,
right? Yeah.
That Dusty pawned so that Cody and Teal could go out to California and do the acting thing and all of that. So he was wearing that at the press conference, which was just a great show of respect, I think, for that, and a great thing for them to do.
Not only just a show of respect to Cody, but a show of respect to Dusty.
Too. Yeah, because Dusty meant a lot, at least to Bruce and Triple H. I don't know if Nick Khan knew Dusty, but Nick Khan, I think, is aware of the history and all of that.
And just what Dusty meant to the business.
Right. So, overall thoughts, I'm going to be just everywhere. Just one of the greatest wrestling events I've ever seen. Not just WrestleMania, wrestling events. I've seen a lot, but this is right up there, if it's not the top, for that very emotional weekend. Highs and just being there with the crowd, and just cold both nights. Colder on night one. Night two was cold, but nothing like night one.
Yeah, we were lucky that it didn't start to get cold for night two. Pretty much it was the main event before it really started to get cold, because the temperature, what was it, 60, it was 60, what, 3 or 4 or something
like that. And it took longer for it to get cooler, and the wind, and it was right when the wind picked up that it got cold.
Right. And compared to night one, where we walked into night one and it was already in the low 50s.
Right.
So we had at least a couple of hours where, that 10-degree difference. So.
Right. But this new era is good it'll be interesting to see where they go from here with it.
I agree. I think something that, and like we have mentioned, something that this WrestleMania has done probably better than any other WrestleMania is the storytelling.
Right.
I mean, because we talk about the storytelling from Cody's last year WrestleMania to this, but we didn't even talk about the year that he returned, everything that he went through up until he won the Royal Rumble the first time.
Right.
Faced Roman, lost. And then this entire year up to WrestleMania. So it's been like a 2-year storytelling process. And to my knowledge, they haven't done a storytelling like that in probably years.
Right.
I think the last one that I can think of, and I'm biased when I say this, is the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker start at 25, because that story carried all the way over until Triple H and Undertaker.
Right, 28.
28,
yeah.
Which the Hell in a Cell ended it.
Yeah.
So just to do like that long storytelling that they have done, just hasn't been done in a while.
Right. And from here, you can go. I'm sure tonight is just going to be insane. Whatever happens in the Raw after WrestleMania is always crazy. And we'll just see where things start to go from here. You got to see what's going to happen with the Bloodline and The Rock. What's going to happen with Damien Priest now. What's going to happen with Cody. Who's he going to face next? CM Punk and Drew. Is Seth taking time off? Is what's going to be next for him? Is in addition to Rhea and Bayley now with championships, and what sets up what is set up for them,
and what about what's going to happen for Gunther?
Right.
I mean, it's got to, like, I think we said this yesterday, but it's got to be heading towards the world title picture, right?
Right. Could it be him versus Damien at Clash at the Castle? I'm thinking somehow Drew gets back into it, and maybe Drew regains the title, and it's Drew versus CM Punk at Clash at the Castle. You never know. Or,
SummerSlam. Because, SummerSlam's the next big one that I feel like where CM Punk would do something big.
Right. No, I fully agree. Excited for this time. I think nights like last night and this weekend are good for wrestling as a whole, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. So what are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts, I would say probably one of the best WrestleManias of all time.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best events in my life of all time.
Right.
And I don't know how to sum it up any way other than it was just an amazing event. It was awesome. It was fun.
Absolutely. So, Tyler, do you have anything to plug before you go?
Oh, geez. Well, if you want to, you could follow me on Twitter, or X as it is called now, at Tyler Morgan MCK. And yeah, I think that's all that I got.
All right. You can follow the show at Cup of Joe Pod on Twitter. You can email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Joey Harris. Tyler, thank you so much for everything. And we will see you all next time. Take care of yourselves.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.